Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. Today's class is going to be a little bit shorter than the last couple. I've done a couple 90 minutes. Sorry, sometimes that's a little bit too long for some people, I realize. Kind of getting carried away with all this extra time and not having to limit myself to the time of the actual class. So this class today is actually going to be probably about 40 minutes or so. The point of this class today is actually going to be to really just get your energy moving. It's very easy right now to get sucked into either a sense of you have so much time on your hands that it's very easy to get into a state of sloth, and there's nothing at all wrong with that, especially if you've not had the opportunity to really be able to relax and decompress and slow down in a long time. So definitely not poo-pooing that need if that's what your body is really craving. But since we've all, begun to work at home, our home office environment's a little bit different, or we're not working at all, and it's a little easier to sort of get a little bit stagnant in our movement, and that can translate into our mindset as well. And it can, the more, for me anyway, the more I sort of let that overcome me, the harder it becomes to do those tasks that we really just don't want to do. So sitting, and maybe I'm doing some video editing, which I've been doing lots of, or whatever it is, and you just kind of get sucked into whatever it is that you're working on, and then you just kind of don't have the energy necessarily to get up and take the dog for a walk, or clean your house, or play with your kids, because you've just kind of gotten into this little bit of a rut. So this practice is all about shaking up your energy and getting you moving, maybe in a little bit more quicker tempo than what I would normally teach in. And we're also going to get moving a lot faster in this flow. I'm not going to spend as much time on breath work and integration at the beginning. There's lots of videos that really focus on that. So if that's what you're needing today, then do one of those. But this practice is about getting moving, getting and building energy so that we have that joie de vivre that we all need to sort of get to those mundane tasks that we don't really enjoy. So with that being said, this practice, I'm not going to use any props. You're certainly welcome to use some blocks if needed for some of the standing poses, or even blocks under your hands for the flows. And also feel free to not do the flows and to simply shift into down dog in between the standing series. So we'll get started. So it's coming into a cross-legged seat if possible. You may wish to slide a blanket underneath your seat. You could also sit up in a kneeling shape if you prefer. It's just a little easier to do some of the movements that I'm going to teach you from a cross-legged seat, but if that doesn't work for your body, then please just sit however you feel comfortable. So taking your hands onto your knees, slowing the breath down, and just looking for that slow, smooth breath. And tuning into your breath. On your next inhale, tilt forward on the pelvis, stick your tailbone back and draw the shoulders down, lift your heart up. Your exhale rounds your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale for that cow-like shape through the spine. And exhaling, round your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale, cow. Exhale, catch. Inhale, rocking forward on your sit bones to stay for a moment. Elbows can be bent. From here, begin to shift your waistline and ribs over to the right. And then draw back through the ribs, round your spine as you shift back onto the tail. Come through center, shift your ribs over to the left. Pull on your knees, reach your heart forward now as you stick the tail back, coming in through that cow shape as you come through center. So we're making a nice big circle with the spine. Beginning to just slowly circle in this direction. Your breath does not have to match the movement. It's nice when it does. It starts to feel a little more magical to me when it does, but it's much better to continue with that just a slow, smooth rhythm to your breath than trying to match your breath to particular movements. So as I'm cueing the breath through this class, please keep that in mind and just breathe. I'd much rather you were breathing than holding your breath trying to catch up with my breath cues. We'll take one more circle in this direction. And then coming through center, shift your rib cage over to the left. Tuck your tail, round your spine as you shift back through center, finding that cat shape as you come over to the right side. Pull your chest forward, stick your tail back, coming all the way to circle in this direction. And as you're moving here, begin to notice if there's any significant difference from moving the spine in this direction from the other direction, just as a way to tune into what's going on with your body. Sometimes when we begin to really get to know what is, where our restrictions are, we will notice faster if that changes, and we can begin to work on keeping our body free from restrictions by staying in tune with it. We'll take one more circle here. And coming back to center. Sitting up nice and tall on your sit bones, ground down through your sit bones, and then begin to find a sense of lift up through the sides of the waist, the center of your chest, out through the rib cage, out through the crown of the head, and then allow your shoulders to just soften down a little. Take a couple slow breaths in and out. One more inhale, spread the arms wide, reach them all the way up. On your exhale, side bend to the right, let your right hand land, left arm curls over the head, maybe that right elbow bends. Inhale, come back up through center. And then side bend to the left, left hand lands, right arm reaches overhead, bending that left elbow as needed. Feel the left side body shortening as the right side body lengthens. Inhale through center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, coming back to center. This time as you exhale, lower the arms down in line with your shoulders as you actively twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lowering the arms as you twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting from your rib cage. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting to the left to stay. This time lowering the hands down. Your left hand can land behind that left hip. Right hand lands on the right shin bone. And then use the left shoulder blade to sort of scoop and lift the chest up so your spine is nice and tall. Hug the front ribs in just a little bit and then continue the rotation to look out over that left shoulder. Okay, take a couple slow breaths into the rib cage here. Take one more breath in. On the breath out, coming all the way back to center, reach the arms up. Take an inhale breath. On your next exhale, twist to the right, lowering the arms all the way down. Coming to land, the left hand on the left shin, rather right hand behind the right hip, just a gentle twist to start. And slow breath in. Complete breath out. And scooping up the chest with that right shoulder blade. And smooth and steady exhale. One more breath in. On the breath out, reach the arms all the way back up as you come back to center. Take an inhale breath one more time. On your exhale, fold forward, leading with your heart. As soon as you feel your spine wanting to round, that's where you pause and just land your hands onto the floor. Now that may be way up here, and that's totally fine. Just staying with where you're at today. Hands come to rest on the floor. You could be on fingertips if needed. Take another breath in. On the breath out, maybe the chest sinks a little closer to the floor. Another breath in. And the breath out, walk your hands a little further forward. Stretching at the back. One more inhale. And one more exhale. And from here, stack the spine nice and tall, coming right back up to your seat, hanging onto your knees once again. A little reach back through your tailbone, lift up through the heart. Find a gentle contraction in the muscles that you just lengthened out. And then rocking onto hands and knees. Coming into your tabletop and then going straight up into your down dog. Take a moment in your down dog to pedal out your feet. And shifting from one side to the other. You could also bend both knees at the same time and really press your chest back towards your thighs. Any little movements that feel good, that help you feel centered and grounded in your down dog. And then finally coming into some stillness here. Take one breath in. And a complete breath out. Look to the top of your mat, step your feet up. Take flat back, hands coming up your shins. Nice long spine here. Keep your knees gently bent. On your exhale, fold forward over your thighs. Inhale, take one more halfway lift. Exhale, this time ground your hands to the floor. Step back to your plank. Pausing in your plank. Option to just land the knees here. For this first one, let's all land the knees actually. Take an inhale to your cow. Exhale to your cat. Find your tabletop on the inhale. And then shift back into your downward facing dog. So that could be your flow if you're wanting to avoid doing any lowering down to the belly into your Cobra pose. And take one more breath in here. Look to the top of your mat, step your feet up. Take flat back, halfway lift. Forward fold. Bend the knees, spread the arms wide, rise with a long spine, reach the hands up and overhead. As you exhale, send the thighs back and the heart forward to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, land your hands, step back to your plank. Option to move through your cat-cow from hands and knees here, or lower to your belly. Come onto your belly, untuck your toes, draw the shoulder blades down the back, little squeeze of the armpits towards the hips, and then drag your hands back a little as you reach your heart forward. We're not rising up very high for these first few cobras. Landing your chest back down, press yourself back to child's pose. Pausing here just for a breath, letting your sit bones ground a little heavier towards your heels. And then on your next exhale, glue your fingertips to the floor, curl your tailbone under you as you pull your belly up and in, round forward through cat pose, then tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Look to the top of your mat. On your next exhale, step the feet up, flat back, halfway lift. Bend the knees to your forward fold. Inhale, spread the arms wide, rise all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, land your hands, step back to your plank. And from knees or toes, lower to the belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through your chest, low cobra, reach your heart forward, drag the hands back a little, feel those muscles around the shoulder blades engage, land your chest back down, press yourself back to child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat pose, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Look to the top of your mat, step your feet up, flat back, halfway lift. Bend the knees to forward fold. Spread the arms wide, rise all the way up, inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, bend the knees, land the hands, step back to plank. From knees or toes, lower to your belly. Untuck your toes, draw the shoulders down the back, reach the heart forward and up. Your next exhale, land the chest. Press yourself back to child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat pose, tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. Changing it up a little here. Shift your weight into your left foot. Take a slow rise up of the right leg. Open the hip, bend the knee. Squeeze your heel in towards your sit bone. Take a big breath in. On the breath out, squeeze inner thighs towards each other. Round the spine, take knee towards nose. Right foot to right thumb, landing your right foot. Spin your back foot in almost 90 degrees. Toes are turned in just slightly. Left arm stretches forward, rise all the way up to your warrior two. Pausing in your warrior two. Let the shoulders drop. Reach out through your fingers. And try to find a little sense of the tailbone grounding down towards the floor, not tucking underneath you, but just a little bit of length to decompress the lower back. Pushing strongly into that back foot. Take one more breath in. And on the breath out, slow motion cartwheel back to the floor. Unplug your back foot. Right foot steps back, lower to the belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through the chest, land your chest. Press yourself back, child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Shift your weight to your right foot. Take a slow rise up through the left leg, open the hip, bend the knee. One more big breath in. On the breath out, square your hips, hug the knee towards the nose, round your spine a lot, then step the left foot to the left thumb. Spin your back foot in almost 90 degrees, toes are pointing forward. Right arm stretches forward, rise all the way up. Warrior two, pausing here. Let the shoulders drop. Let the left sit bone drop and see how that sends your left shin bone a little further forward. From here, find a little squeeze of your left sit bone underneath you, and that left outer hip crease draws back a little bit. One more breath in. Keep pushing back strongly through that right foot as you slowly cartwheel the arms back down on the exhale breath. Unplug your back foot, left foot steps back, lower to the belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through your chest. Land your chest. Press yourself back. Child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat pose. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Down dog. Shift your weight to your left foot. Slow rise of the right leg. Open the hip, bend the knee. Square the hip, hug the knee to the nose. Right foot to right thumb. Spin your back foot in. Left arm reaches forward, circle the arms up. Warrior two. Ground into that warrior two just for a breath. Settling the right sit bone a little closer to the floor. Right shin bone forward. Then flip your right hand, reach it into the room, stretch it up and back, reverse warrior. Right hip crease is drawing down. Right side body's lifting up. Reach out through the right fingertips. Bend your top elbow. Slowly side bend to the right, hinging from that right hip. Land your right forearm, left arm comes overhead. Draw the shoulders away from the ears here, creating space for the neck. One more breath in. On the breath out, reverse your warrior. One more inhale. Your exhale, slow motion cartwheels you back down to the floor. Right foot steps back, lower to your belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through your chest, low cobra. Land your chest. Press yourself back, child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat pose. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. Shift your weight to your right foot. Slow rise of the left leg. Open the hip, bend the knee. Square the hip, hug the knee towards the nose. Left foot to left thumb. Spin your back foot in. Stretch the right arm forward, rise all the way up. Warrior two. Left shin bone pressing forward, left sit bone settling down. Flip your front palm, reach it into the room, stretch it up and back, reverse warrior. Stay low through that left hip crease, lift up through the left side body. Bend your top elbow, slowly hinge to the side, left forearm lands on the left thigh, right arm comes overhead with the palm facing the floor. Stretch out through the fingertips, push back strongly into your right foot. Breathing here. Don't allow that left shoulder to roll in or dump forward. Push into your left forearm and draw the shoulder down the back to create lots of space for the neck. Reverse your warrior. Slow motion cartwheel back to the floor. Surround your front foot. Unplug the back foot. Left foot steps back. Lower to your belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through your chest, land your chest. Press yourself back, child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat, tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. Shift your weight to the left foot, slow rise of the right leg, open the hip, bend the knee. Square the hip, hug the knee to the nose, right foot to right thumb. Back foot spins in, left arm stretches forward, circles up. Warrior two. Flip the front hand, reach it into the room, stretch it up and back. Reverse warrior. Bend your top elbow, hinge to the side, right forearm to right thigh, left arm overhead. Reverse your warrior. Left fingertips land on the back leg, right arm lifts back up. From here, straighten out through the front leg. Maybe keep a micro bend in your front knee if you have a tendency to hyperextend. From here, draw back through the right hip crease. Continue to hinge to the side. Keep your side body long until you find that spot where your spine really wants to round to get the arm down. Pause there and simply lower the arm. Take it to the inside of your shin or your knee, and then stretch your left arm up. Shoulders draw down. Chest is reaching towards the wall in front of me. Bend into your front leg. Reverse your warrior. Slow motion cartwheel back to the floor. Unplug your back foot. Right foot steps back, lower to the belly. Rise up through the chest. Land your chest. Press yourself back, child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Down dog. Two breaths. Shift your weight to the right foot, slow rise of the left leg, open the hip, bend the knee. Square the hip, round the spine, knee towards nose, left foot to left thumb. Spin your back foot in, right arm stretches forward, rise all the way up. Warrior two. Flip the front palm, reach it into the room, stretch it up and back, reverse warrior. Bend your top elbow, hinge to the side, left forearm on left thigh, right arm overhead. Reverse your warrior. Keep your side body long, straighten your front leg, and then draw back through the left hip crease as you side bend to the left, finding that spot where your spine begins to want to bend, and then stopping there, keeping the spine nice and long. Right arm reaches up, left hand is to the inside of your left knee or shin or thigh or wherever it lands. Bend into your front leg, reverse your warrior. Slow motion cartwheel back to the floor. Unplug your back foot, left foot steps back, lower to your belly. Untuck your toes, rise up through your chest. Land your chest. Press yourself back, child's pose. Pull yourself forward through cat pose to stay. Breathing into the back body. And then lifting up through the tail, shrugging the shoulders down, the back, reach your heart forward. A couple of breaths here into the front body, stretching it out. And then making a couple of circles with the tail on the wall behind you. So imagine you've got like a big pencil coming out of your tailbone and you're slowly making a circle in one direction and then slowly making a circle in the other direction. And coming back to center. And then shifting your ribs to the right, push the floor away, find your cat pose, come back through center, shift the ribs to the left. So making this big log roll action through the ribs. The tail, the hips are going to move a little bit, but try not to let them take over the movement here. Simply allowing the ribs to circle in one direction and then begin to circle in the opposite direction. And then coming back to center, and then taking the head in one direction. But first what we'll do is draw your chin towards your chest. It doesn't have to come to the chest, but just towards the chest. And then draw an imaginary line across the right collarbone with your chin. And look out over the right shoulder. And then draw a line across that collarbone, come back to center, across the left collarbone, and look out to the left. Come back across your left collarbone, through center, over to the right, and then reach your chin forward, look forward. Coming all the way over to the left, tucking your chin back towards the collarbone. And then reach your chin forward, begin to rotate the head to look forward, come back to center. And then coming into a kneeling shape for a moment. Coming to rest your hands on tops of your thighs. Slow your breath down a little here. And release your hands, and then press your hands forward and away from your heart center. On your next exhale, round your spine a lot like cat, tuck through your tail. Keep pressing the hands forward, forward, forward as you draw the ribs back. And then draw the shoulder blades back towards each other, lifting the heart back up. Take an inhale breath here. On the exhale, push the hands forward, find that round shape through the upper back. On the inhale, lift the chest back up as you draw the shoulder blades back in. Exhale to push the hands away. Inhale, draw the shoulder heads back. Exhale, push the hands away. Inhale, pulling them back as you lift up the chest. I'll demonstrate a few here. Stay lifted through the chest on your final inhale. Release the hands, let them float down on either sides of your hips. Inhale, reach the arms all the way back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, take a side bend to the right, fingertips land on the floor, arm arcs overhead. Come back up through center, right arm lifts back up. Exhale to the left, let your left fingertips or palm land, really push the floor away, squeeze your left side body as you reach that right arm overhead. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, let your hands land. Unravel, come back into your tabletop. And then walk your knees just a little further back from your hips. Oops. Shift your weight a little heavier into your right hand. Sweep the left arm underneath the right. Come all the way down onto your left shoulder and head. Keep your hips lifted here. Actively push into your right hand to press your hips back just a little bit. Slow the breath down and send it into your left side rib cage. Unravel the left arm. Set your left hand back onto the floor in line with the right. Push into your hand a little. Sweep your right arm underneath you, coming down onto your right shoulder.
and temple. And then again, push into your left hand a little to shift your hips back slightly and breathe into the right side ribs. Unravel the arms. Spin your shins off to one side, coming down onto your back. Just to give yourself a little bit of a bonus chest stretch, you could take your arms into a cactus shape here with your elbows bent at 90 degrees, elbows in line with shoulders and fingertips pointing straight back behind you. And then from here, walk your feet just a little wider, taking them almost as wide as the mat. And then just take a couple of gentle windshield wipers in this shape, just to settle the back down. Slowly moving and really feeling the body as you move. Settling back into a sense of feeling grounded but energized. Begin to take the legs all the way back to center. Walk your feet back in line with your hips. Release the arms back down and then draw one knee in towards your chest and then the other. And then shift from side to side, just slowly rocking, massaging up the low back. From here, release the feet back down to the floor. Stretch out your legs. Take up as much room as you need and settle into your Shavasana. Beginning to deepen the breath. You could stay here in Shavasana for as long as you like and just pause the video. Or we begin to find a little bit of movement in the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And then bending one knee and then the other. Roll to one side and press yourself up. Coming to sit up into a nice tall seat. closing your eyes and trying to settle back into that quietness of Shavasana, even while you are coming back into the room. Prayer, your hands at your heart. Thank yourself for practicing. Namaste.